Hello, my friends. How are you doing? Hello, people I call friends, but are more than likely enemies.
Yes.
All right. We're about to get started.
Let's start before Jeff spoils anything else from the movie that just came out today.
Oh my God.
I can't have 1 minute to enjoy things in the movie. I have to see through the context.
Oh my, okay.
Tweets. Actually,
you
spoilers
need the
are a good
to
thing.
Truly enjoy that. Oh my God.
The context. I know the context.
Right. So then, why is this the spoiler? So why are you so upset?
I would like to have that moment. I would like to watch the movie and be like, oh wow, neat. Oh, Jeff did me a service. Jeff did a good thing.
I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, okay, so you see the joke then, or you see it now? It's still the same joke.
I want to see it when I'm watching the movie. Oh
okay,
my God.
That's your problem.
Let's do a poll.
No, I don't want to. I don't need to hear about people's.
You're wrong.
We'll do a poll. Whatever.
You're gonna write it
Jeff about spoilers. All right, hang on.
Are you mad at Jeff about spoilers? I first found out because my brothers were complaining about it. So you've pissed off all the Minottis today. I
don't give a shit. I don't care.
You're just an agent of chaos.
Yes, it's the same joke whether you're watching the movie or not. It doesn't matter.
I want it in the movie.
All right. Okay, I've started the poll. All right. Let's see. Let's make sure.
Oh my God! Wow. Everybody who's writing, I'm gonna tell. There's something. If it was something you cared more about, Jeff, you care. Everyone's gonna just vote against me.
He spoiled a gameplay thing in like a new Mario game. That I'd probably be pretty upset.
So yeah, there is a line.
Yeah. Listen, you're right. There probably is a line. It's absurd that the ugly Sonic joke on from the new Chip and Dale movie.
Some of us care about Chip and Dale, Jeff.
Yeah, okay, but
some of us have waited for this movie for 30 years.
All right, whatever. I don't give a shit. People can come at me about spoilers. I guess as soon as I got the first spoilers on Twitter reply, I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be my thing today, isn't it? All right, where's the music?
If you're shocked, Jeff, it's just because you're a bad person. You just don't know.
Okay, let's. Do
you like my Final Fantasy anniversary shirt?
Oh yeah, look at that. It took me a second to understand what's happening.
When they cut off the bottom. I'm not a big fan of the bottom just listing the names of everybody in the game, but the top half looks very classy.
Yeah, that's weird, but I like it.
It's flashing everybody my top.
All right. Let's. I think you do a countdown. I got everything right here.
Thank you, Green. My dad does not like my beard when it gets slightly out. I don't mind my beard going gray. It bothers my dad immensely. I think it's more. I think he finds it more of a sign of his mortality than I do mine.
Okay, let us get started. Yes, tweet. Let's tweet is what I meant to say. All right. Copy video URL.
Kenobo. Oh man, I need. See, I want to see that one in the movie when I'm by myself and I've got my tissues right there. You can't just say these things.
All right.
Why is it so hot in here? Do I have the air on? My God, I already have 68. I'm burning alive! Benny, you unplugged my microphone. Why did you do this? Now I can't hear Jeff yelling at me. Well, I'll plug it back in now. There we
go. Okay, let's see here.
What else is nice about this shirt?
What else is nice about this shirt, Mike? No, I don't actually. I'm guessing.
Yeah, you know how shirts, new shirts, kind of smell weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one smells like the beach right out of the package. They perfumed it or something. This is a high quality product. It's very comfortable. We like buying those shirts off of T Public or whatever because they have very fun designs. The shirts themselves are but this is very comfy. This is a luxury product.
Oh, okay. Wait, what brand is it?
It's something. That's a good question. Let me find out.
It's Uniqlo, but Uniqlo actually doesn't use it.
That sounds right. Actually,
is it Uniqlo? Okay. All right then.
Yeah. That sounds right. They did one for each game for the 35th anniversary, and I got this in 9. They were out of 12 and 14 already in extra large. Sadly,
Razor Edge. I believe that there might be an embargo for that, so I wouldn't be able to say. But I guess maybe you could take that to mean that there's probably going to be something soon. Okay. I am going to start the countdown. What?
Yeah, hey you Peekaboo. That's right. They usually smell like vinegar. This one smells like the beach. It's very nice. I felt like I was on vacation.
I just mean someone wore it and then returned it, and now you're wearing it. That's what that means.
No, these are brand new. These just no way. And maybe the hot models wore this one, and then they had to repackage it when they were putting it on display. Actually, it's probably a Hollister model, and they just got their natural Hollister smell on it when they put it on.
Right, a beach made it into a human. Right. From VJ Incoming, I have several pairs of Uniqlo jeans that are actually sweatpants, and I wear them to work every day. That sounds like a miracle. I'm gonna look into that.
I'm getting more stuff from these people. This is actually incredibly comfortable.
5, 4, 3.
I don't hear the music, by the way.
Son of a bitch! I don't know. You don't need to hear it all that much, but that's fine. It's okay. I can fix that real quick. Hang on. Well, good start, everybody. Good start. Voice video. I was on a podcast, so I was using the wrong one. And now Mike's back. There we go. Okay. 5, 4, 3. The internet, you're busy, let's do this. Welcome to the GamesBeat Decides podcast. This is the podcast where we decide everything happening in the world of video games so you never have to think for yourself. I'm your host, Jeff Grubb. With me is
Mike Minotti.
In today's episode, we have news, we have games, we have opinions on spoilers for the new Rescue Rangers movie. We got a lot happening, but first I want to know, Mike Minotti, how are you doing?
I'm great. I got my Final Fantasy 30. Now, you know how much I hate 35th anniversaries.
Of course.
Final Fantasy's 35th anniversary was an excuse to make some cool merch. And this Final Fantasy 6 shirt I'm wearing from Uniqlo, is that what it's called? It's very comfortable.
Uniqlo, yes, I believe so.
Uniqlo. So I feel very good. I just hope that they get more of the Final Fantasy 12 ones in stock because they looked very good. As you know, Jeff, my favorite Final Fantasies are 6, 9, 12, and 14. I was able to get 6 and 9. 14 went like immediately. I was surprised that 12 went out faster than 6 or 9 did, but such was my fate.
Probably just didn't make as much 12, right? You would think,
you might
maybe?
Be right.
That's probably what it is.
There's probably some. I was like how many 13s did they make, right?
Right.
Let's see if I can still get an extra large 13. No, those are gone. I think they're almost all gone at this point, because,
They probably made a lot, but it all went to that. Who's the creator that's obsessed with lightning? Is that Nomura?
No, is that Nomura? I can never remember who exactly was responsible for 13.
Yeah, well, responsible is the right word. Thank you, everybody, for joining us to get more from Mike and me at GamesBeat.com. If you want to ask a question, you can drop a super chat during the show right here on YouTube. That's the best way to get us a question. But you can communicate with us for free by emailing us at GamesPlusPodcast@VentureBeat.com. That's the plus sign. Thank you to Carlos Ainin, who is Insane in the Rain Music on YouTube, for the use of our theme songs. We are on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever pods are caught. Give us a good rating wherever you are listening. And if you're on YouTube right now, hit that thumbs up. It really helps people find the show. So we have, I think we almost have 400 people watching, 55 likes. Hit those likes. What are you gonna say, Mike?
Hit those likes, especially hit the like if you're happy for Rachel getting married on Wednesday. Congratulations, Rachel. I just that was gonna be a nice moment until I propositioned it into benefiting me. But yes, congratulations, Rachel.
Well, you gotta be.
The way it's gotta be. It's a cutthroat world out there.
Cutthroat world out there. Congratulations, Rachel. We were very excited when she went to go do that the other day during work. I was very happy. Join the Discord. The link is in the description, or you can go to gamemess.net or discord.gg/gamemess. Either one of those will work. Thank you to our mods. You can support the show by going to patreon.com/gamemess. That gets you access to the secret channels inside the Discord, access to the Q&A, access to a Jeopardy game tonight, live, actually.
Oh, Oh my
So
gosh.
if you want to watch that live tonight, the details will be in the Discord. I'll try to post the details to the Patreon as well, so you can just like click it from there. But you could also get it if you join the YouTube channel. You could do that. If you are if you subscribe to me on Twitch, you can do this. So if you are a member in any one of those ways, if you're in the secret channels inside the Discord, you can get access to that. So looking forward to it. Mike, how are you feeling about Jeopardy tonight?
I feel like we might be seeing one of the greatest comebacks in American sports history.
For people wondering, we will. Our special guest tonight's going to be Nate the Hate. He's going to be joining us on the show, so I'm looking forward to having him and having him help me once again, perhaps destroy Mike Minotti. And I think I'll put up the last month's video. I'll probably put that up today if I get a chance. Maybe tomorrow morning. We'll see.
Yeah, everyone could see the fix that was in for Mike Minotti that day.
I mean, you could call it what you will. I call it a loss.
Milk tank.
That would not have helped you.
It would have spiritually helped me. It put me in a bad place, Jeff. It was too early on in the show.
Yeah. All right, Mike. I got a bunch of news. I think we could probably hop into it. You ready?
Let's hop.
Let's hop into the news with the biggest story of the week. It reads here the headline: the Beef and Chet Armada defeated the vile Windows Central Shrimp by a score of 4-1 in a best of 7 Halo series. We pretty much destroyed them.
Yes.
It would have been a clean sweep, but one match just kind of didn't go our way for no particular reason.
Yeah. So we started with my team, my glorious team. That was a 4-4 and just a Slayer. 50-25. We annihilated, so much so that it was almost too much. I began feeling like we were taking it more seriously than them. But then it was you did very well in the Fiesta match. It was close-ish. You had a couple of triple kills there that looked pretty good. You did fall to your death almost immediately, but I forgave that. Yep. So that was good. And then just total annihilation and the capture of the flag again. But then the first big team battle, it came down to 50-49. Jeff, you killed nobody. I need to go back and watch this because I was at a party. Party sounds like I was raving. I was at my niece's birthday party. So yes, 0 kills
and like 11 deaths.
Yes, and 11 deaths,
something like that. At least 11, or maybe it was at least 9. But either way, it was a lot. It was unacceptable. And if I would have just got 1 kill, we would have won. I mean, that's as simple as that.
We came back in we are the scene masters, as we found out when we were doing our scrimmages.
Yes, I did much better in the next one, and it was and I got a lot of kills in that one too, and it was like I felt much better after that. But no one's gonna remember that. They're gonna remember the 0 kill match. So that's gonna be.
Well, it's like the only thing Miles is holding on to.
Yes, yeah, I get
the fact that you got totally. 0 kills on the one, which is fair.
Yeah, I get it.
But it was a lot of fun. Great job to our whole community, everyone who was playing along, everyone who was watching. We came together as a strong, unified force of beef.
That's right.
A slab of beef, if you will.
Yes, the slab is here to wreck and to get a reckoning. All right. Speaking of reckoning, Norman Reedus said that they have started working on the second part of Death Stranding. This was in an interview from earlier this week. And he basically said, hey, we started the second thing. And then he went through the whole history of how the first game came about. He's like, Guillermo del Toro gave me a call. And he's like, a guy named Hideo Kojima is going to call you and ask you to do something. Just say yes. And then Norman Reedus was like, wait, what are you talking about? And then apparently Guillermo del Toro says, quit being a dick. Just say yes.
Quit being a dick.
And so he's like, yeah, I did it. I said yes. I did motion capture for, he said, years. It's probably pickups, right? They probably start with some motion capture and then they figure out more of the story.
At first, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was for PT at first, right? Yes, you're right. That's where it first started, and then they kept doing it with Death Stranding. But apparently that also took a lot of time.
Sure.
But they've already started to do this stuff for what sounds like a Death Stranding sequel, which isn't too surprising based on what we last heard from Kojima in December when he did that interview with Famitsu, where he said, "I'm working on 2 games, a big game and something new and challenging," is how he put it. And the big game makes sense to be Death Stranding 2, because that game sold 5-6 million copies. And even if Sony's not going to pick it up, which I don't know if Sony's going to pick it up, maybe they are. I think 505 would be like, hey, we worked with you before, we'll publish it. And
someone will do it. I think Sony may still, but who knows?
Yes, who knows?
Now, Reedus has said this before about work, and we thought that he must just be talking about the director's cut. He must be confused.
Sure.
This time,
yes,
it has to just be the sequel. Actually, he can't be confused. Now the question is, did he actually leak this? Did Kojima be like, yeah, tell them all? Like, why did he just kind of low key announce it like this?
Because he's an actor and they don't care. They don't.
No repercussions.
The NDA, he signed it. He didn't read it. And he didn't care what it said. So yeah.
Well, it's probably such a different thing than I bet it. I mean, in Hollywood, the casting gets announced almost before a lot of the work begins, right? So it's like, well, if I'm doing it, of course I can talk about it.
Right. Yeah. And it's but at the same time, it's also not a huge surprise. So they're working on that, and then I would imagine that the new and challenging thing would be the cloud game.
Your thing,
right? People still think that Kojima is working on a Silent Hill game. Yeah, would that be new and challenging? I mean, maybe it'd be challenging to go back and work with Konami. Maybe that's what he means. I don't think that's what he means. So, yes, probably the Xbox thing, and hopefully we'll hear about all of these things very soon. Okay, Mike, I have a question. Why does Activision have a supercomputer to defeat racism instead of hiring people who aren't racist?
That was just incredible.
Yeah.
Do you want to do like the explanation of this monstrosity?
Yes. So this isn't like a leak. This isn't like a former employee saying we have this weird thing. They have a proud blog post about how they have this tool they use where it's like, hey, if you move the numbers on like one of those hexagonal grids that like tells you like how powerful like a X-Men character is or whatever.
Yeah, like when you're leveling up your social skills and persona, it's like that.
Yes. Only for this, it's like how much ethnicity you have and then how much gender you have. Listen, it's a weird thing. You'll have to like kind of see it for yourself. But for example, like it was like culture or ethnicity when like that's one of the things. And what's the guy in the rollerblades in Overwatch?
Lucio.
Lucio. Yeah, he had like a super high ethnicity score. I'm like, okay. Basically, the idea is that it can create characters and they put them in this tool. And by putting them in this tool, it kind of forces people to think in ways to make them more diverse. Mm-hmm. And that sounds good up until the point where you're like, why wouldn't you just hire people that can create diverse characters?
Like, you can see where this came from a good place, but like nobody wants to see diversity and things like this boiled down to numerical values.
Yes.
It's just weird. It's off-putting. And it's bizarre. It's just, it literally does feel like a bunch of, like 1980 stereotype Poindexters in a computer lab, right? Like what is going on here?
Especially for a big team project, right? If you are, let's say you're an author and you're creating the characters, I'm almost like, if you're a singular author and you're like rolling a dice, be like, I want to create a new character and I sort of want to like wash my hands of like deciding the gender or ethnicity or something like that. I can almost like see that working a little bit. But if you were like this big team, you have space to like just bring in people who can represent these different ideas and just have a genuine desire to represent different people instead of working the other way around.
It makes diversity seem harder than it is or needs to be, right? Just you have eyes, you have people you can talk to, you can figure stuff. I mean, gosh, for Overwatch specifically, it's always so obvious which ones aren't in there because the community tells them. Like, everyone's upset for there's not a black woman in the game. Well, now there is because, people tell you. It's like, yeah, we should do that. You don't need a computer to say, well, we ran the charts and the racial slider is looking pretty low these days. It's also, it's like it absolves them from it. Like, oh, well, the computer said this. Well, who's teaching the computer this?
Exactly.
Who taught the computer that being like Middle Eastern is a 7 on the gradient scale of ethnicity, right?
Exactly. Like, yes, who is deciding the numerical value of any of these different categories? Like, that is like a weird thing on its own. Absolutely. And then they can pretend that they're standing back and being like, this is just math. Like, we didn't decide math. And so, well, you kind of did. I hope that they never use this again.
They updated the blog post, which like somewhat thoughtfully addressed the criticisms, but and they're like, this is just a tool. It's not determining everything. Like, okay. It just seems so misguided to throw it out there. You have to wonder like, what's going on?
Right. It's like it really does feel like boiling characters down to base components that shouldn't be base components. It should come from someplace more meaningful and honest and representative of the people making the game. Let's see. Some Sony news. Sony CEO, so this is not PlayStation boss Jim Ryan. This is Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida said that the Bungie acquisition represents a major step, and this is a quote, represents a major step forward in becoming more multi-platform. Mike, is PlayStation going third party?
No, they're not going third party, but maybe those old terms are going to become obsolete, not in the immediate future, but perhaps someday. I mean, multi-platform could just they're already a multi-platform
Yep.
company. PlayStation games come out on PC now. That
Yep.
is another platform. There's two of them. That is multiples. That is multi-platform. And yeah, so is this mean? Oh wow, God of War Ragnarok is going to come out on Xbox? No, not anytime soon, anyways. But I don't know, Jeff. What's your read on this?
This just does, it reads to me like they see that the future is going to reach people where they're at, and that doesn't necessarily mean like supporting the competition's hardware. Of course, it doesn't mean that, and it doesn't mean they're going third party in the same way that Xbox is not really going third party in that way. It is just like, hey, if we acquire something that is massive, what is the best thing to do for that thing? Well, in Bungie's case, it is to keep it multi-platform, to keep Destiny wherever it can go, and sort of let that studio operate the way it's been operating. And that is a multi-platform strategy where it's just like, we will now have representation across all these different devices, and it means that we can reach people where they're at. That doesn't mean you abandon this other strategy that you already had of building up the PlayStation. This is just another strategy that is now a multi-platform strategy, and it can live alongside that. And you could do both. And I expect them to kind of grow on that. And I wouldn't be too surprised, though, if in the future, as they make more acquisitions or they make decisions, maybe they do lean a little bit more toward being open to the idea of multi-platform possibilities. But it's not suddenly overnight going to be a company that is putting out games day one on PC, let alone Xbox or Nintendo Switch.
Sure, and if they really are as serious about this live service push as they say they are, multi-platform is maybe going to be important for that stuff to work.
Right,
you're going to really limit yourself if you're just PlayStation, PC, maybe mobile.
Yes, yeah, definitely mobile. And then after Jim Ryan's awful email about cats and dogs, you could tell that some studios were pretty upset because of the way they responded, which is not necessarily coming out and saying Jim Ryan was kind of embarrassing. Insomniac was just like, here's $50,000 to the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. And then they got PlayStation to match that, sort of as I believe this is probably like Jim Ryan saying, listen, I'm not going to go out and suddenly change what I said, but I will in through action support your desire to support women. So studios trying to navigate this relationship they have with a big corporation that doesn't want to take sides. Right. And I think a lot of these studios have been like, by not taking sides, you're taking a side. You are saying that like women's reproductive rights are up to the political.
They're not worth fighting for.
Right, exactly, and that is taking sides. And so the studios are sort of forcing their hands, saying, well, we are also going to take a side, and we're going to do it in a material way. The other thing here, you go back to Bungie. Bungie was out a lot this week saying like, we are going to continue to stand up for what's right. They're being very vocal. I think even once that deal fully closes, Sony and Jim Ryan are not going to be able to stop Bungie from speaking out like this. This
what are
seems
they
like
going to do?
Yeah, exactly.
Punish them,
Right.
And I mean, I would love to hear some of those phone calls. Right, there's probably been some awkward meetings or maybe angry meetings between some Bungie heads and Jim Ryan or what have you. Yeah, it's interesting because I was wondering if is Jim Ryan going to actually come out and apologize. And as I was wondering, as I thought about it, I was like, no, probably not. 'Cause he's probably going to be real, businessy guy. He's going to look at what happened at Disney when they came out and did their thing. It's like, well, that didn't work for them, so we're not going to do it. I'm just going to weather this storm, I guess. I bet he really wishes he just didn't say anything. The whole thing was bizarre. It is definitely a stain on his career.
Yep, absolutely. PlayStation Plus did get detailed about like the classic games that are coming to the service, Ubisoft games. We talked quite a bit about this actually on Nintendogs, just in relationship to how it related to like Nintendo Switch Online. But we talked pretty in depth about this stuff. But overall, I'm still at a point where I'm like, I hope they announce more games before this thing actually launches. There's like one PSP game, right?
Right. Yeah. And, there's some big PSP games you can throw on there. I mean, there's the two God of War games. Crisis Core is such a big one.
Right.
That has never been remastered for anything else. And is actually a good game. And, it's like, it's hard to play it anymore. So I would almost be shocked. Like that would almost seem like the minimum. Crisis Core and the God of War, at least one of those two God of War games. But yeah, I hope we see more. What is even the one? I can't remember.
I'm looking it up right now. Just give me a second.
I remember it wasn't anything that like really popped my ears or anything.
Yeah. Let's go. I'm just gonna type in the word portable and see what happens.
Yeah, there's Secret Agent Clank. There's Ratchet Clank
Super Stardust Portable.
Yeah, like okay, fine, right? But yeah, there's much bigger games there.
Like they're not even listing these things by platform. They are just listing it by, these are the PlayStation Studios games that are coming, and it's like Ape Escape and Hot Shots Golf and IQ Intelligent Cube and stuff like that. And that's like original PlayStation. Original PlayStation is listed after that, but it's all under the PlayStation Studios sort of filter. Like that is how they are announcing this. So it's like they're not even thinking about it like as the PSP as this bespoke platform to support through this service, which is a little bit weird.
Yeah, that is a little weird, and it's a little maybe concerning about how many PSP games are we getting. But we'll see.
Let's see. I will say that the third-party stuff, that especially
Rachel, Chains of Olympus was great. I actually never finished Ghost of Sparta. How dare you? I liked Chains of Olympus, the one of the two God of War games. Sorry, Jeff. Rachel triggered me in chat.
No, it's okay. Wait, hang on, real quick. What's up? In a bit. Why? Are you hungry? Okay, I can order food. Yeah, we can do it. Sorry, my wife's off today. I was gonna make that Japanese curry. You want to try that for lunch, or
you better not put apples in it like they do for Japanese curry sometimes. That's disgusting.
I've never, I don't think I've ever had like a real Japanese curry, so I'm like, I got some instant Japanese curry. I'm gonna make that. All right. Let me know what you want. I'll order it. Okay, let's see. I'll say the third party stuff here is pretty good in terms of like, especially like the modern games. A lot of Ubisoft stuff.
A lot of the PlayStation 4 stuff's good. A lot of that Ubisoft stuff. It's like basically all of those big. You're getting a lot of the biggest games from that generation.
And then like Guardians of the Galaxy and Dead Cells, and there's just a lot of good stuff there. So here's where I'm at with this thing. And then we'll move on because again we did talk about this a lot on Last of the Nintendo Dogs. If you are new to PlayStation or you are someone who hasn't played all of these games before, it seems like a pretty good deal. If you are someone who has played all these games before, you're probably thinking it doesn't seem like a good deal, and I bet many of you subscribe anyway. I bet many of you just buy this thing anyhow. So, because I mean, that's where I'm at, where I'm probably just going to get this anyhow. And that's kind of how this is going to work. They're not really worried about us because we're suckers.
You see, there was something like about Siphon Filter getting trophy support. They do that for like most of these games. That'll be pretty cool. Like the idea that I could platinum Jumping Flash, that's got me a little happy.
I am happy for you. My opinion of achievements and trophies is that I'm over them, and
I mostly am. I mean, I don't know if I've ever gone out of my way to platinum a game or anything like that. And like, I kind of roll my eyes a bit when people complain like this game's not very fun to platinum. It's like, well, then don't.
Yeah, yeah. I'm like, I'm not. I don't want to like be like super aggressive because I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. But it's
don't want to because we have some big friends who love platinuming games. You don't want to upset
Greg
them.
Miller, they
loves it.
They are the participation trophy of video games. Come at me when you're like the number one player in the world in a video game. Like I almost was in Astro's Playroom. So come on, that's a real achievement right there.
What there's like that Astro figure from Nerdroid or whatever that's called. It looks really good. I kind of want it.
I have not seen that. I'll have to take a look at it because I love that character.
He's a great character. I need more, and we will. I'm sure we're getting more, but I need it now.
Nomura said we will get Final Fantasy news in June. Mike, what's happening in June with Final Fantasy?
I think he almost said Final Fantasy VII news.
Right, Final Fantasy VII remake updates in June.
Look, he's saying that's happening soon, and we know that Final Fantasy 16 news is happening soon. It makes me feel like these two games are going to show up maybe together in some kind of Final Fantasy event. The question is, when is this going to get announced? It could be at Sony if Sony's doing a show in June, but so far they haven't said anything.
Right.
So you're wondering.
And we're getting close.
We're getting close to at least those early June shows. Maybe they'll do something later in June.
Yeah,
or maybe Square Enix is going to do their own Final Fantasy 35th anniversary thing. I don't know, but it certainly feels like something big is happening with this franchise. Look, I mean, the shirts came in, right? They're doing this whole thing. And there's other things I think we still need to hear more about Ever Crisis, that kind of mobile remake of the whole Final Fantasy VII compilation or whatever that was called. So there's lots of Final Fantasy things to talk about. They still have to announce ports of the Pixel remasters to Switch at some point. I assume they could easily do a whole Final Fantasy show if they want to.
Yes, they could. And it could filter into any one of those like big shows that aren't like Nintendo or Xbox, because like they're not going to have Final Fantasy 16. But everything else could host that stuff. Probably. Yeah, or remake, right? Yes.
Well, like they could. Well, what if the news is actually just Final Fantasy 7 remake is the first one's finally coming to Xbox?
That's actually probably not too far off the mark.
I just thought about that now. Maybe
and now that seems most realistic, doesn't it? Yeah.
Now that I said that out loud, like, maybe that's what my expectation should be.
You 100% just convinced me right there, and that's in that moment where I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Final Fantasy 16 will actually get talked about, and then Final Fantasy 7 remake news is coming to Xbox.
I just shook up everything I was thinking before. Maybe that's what's going to happen. Well, we'll see. That's pretty right though.
Still, we're still waiting for a lot of news about what's going to happen in June. I've heard this. I said this about Sony, and then it turned into a big thing, and I'm afraid to say this. I'll just say that maybe. Okay, actually, here, let's start here. Could someone in chat look up when did Nintendo announce that they were doing a direct last year? How close were we to the actual date? If someone could do that and put it in chat, that'd be helpful. And then maybe we'll talk about it from there. Okay. Mike, you got to be excited about this. Keiji Inafune is back with NFTs.
This was a hilarious saga on Twitter, because at first everybody was like, this is a scam. I don't think Inafune is not actually involved. His signature's not here. They don't have any photos of him. This is just all, and everyone was like, yeah, shame on this company. Then eventually they just posted a video of him promoting them. And then everyone's like, damn it. He actually is involved. Wow. Shame on him, I guess. Yeah, I mean, look, what do you want? He's been spiraling for a while, right? And this is, now he's got his own line of disgusting NFTs that look like, discarded Mega Man X bosses, like the ones who didn't make the cut. I don't know. It's her point. It's like, is pity the feeling? I'm not sure.
Yeah. In chat, a lot of help. Samuel Tolbert, a few others. Let's see, Beef and Crusader, a bunch of people. VJ Incoming, all saying they announced it on June 2nd of last year. The direct was on June 15th. So okay,
a little bit less than 2 weeks.
Yeah. So we still got some time, and I think maybe we'll wait till we're a little bit closer, because I just heard this and I'm not able to confirm it, and it's not bad news or anything like that. It would just be the structure of the Nintendo show might be different. And so I was just like, let's wait, and then I'll give them more details once I'm able to confirm.
Now I want these details.
Yeah, I'll tell you. It's nothing to be for people to get anxious about. It's not anything like that. Okay. Microsoft boss said that the Activision Blizzard King acquisition is moving fast. And he said that the attorneys, this will quote, one of our attorneys summed it up nicely by saying, we're coming to the end of the beginning. So it is progressing, and it seems like it's progressing on the kind of slightly faster track than what they were expecting. Doesn't mean it's going to close anytime soon.
They're still on the beginning, even if they're at the end of it.
Exactly. So, but that does mean that, what are we? We're in May. This thing probably still could close by the end of this year. It will definitely close by that June of next year date that they were talking about. If it, as long as everything continues to go as forward and there's no problems with the FTC and things like that. The Xbox Series S outsold the PlayStation 5 in Japan last week, Mike.
Wow, they finally did it, Jeff. They did it. They're the kings of Japan.
That's right. Kings of Japan. I wrote, this is the sign of the end times, and a bunch of Xbox people got very mad at me. They're like, you're a PlayStation fanboy.
That's the best thing about this, is that every reasonable person understands that this is about supply issues, but still, the fanboys are furious and screaming about how it's actually about the supply issues. We all know,
right? We get it.
Calm down. We get it's still interesting.
I mean, everyone's and it's Japan, and they don't really care about consoles, no matter what. Get over it. But it's 6,000. So it was Xbox Series S sold 6,120 units. The PS5. Obviously, supply constrained, sold 2,963. That number almost doesn't matter. But 6,000 for Xbox Series S sounds like a lot for Xbox, actually. I thought I was used to that thing, Xbox is selling 100 to maybe low 4 digits, 1,000, 2,000 in a week.
I remember they had a bit of if I remember Xbox 360, they went real hard on that for a bit. They got those Mistwalker games, and they were getting a lot of JRPGs on there, and it had some help there, but even still, they can only do so much. So Yeah, it is interesting to see that. It is also, though, relatively these numbers are still so small, right? Like, we're not even
for
talking
sure.
about 5 digits here, which gives you an idea of why PlayStation, like, for example, PlayStation has basically forgotten about Japan or de-emphasized it so much.
Canubal says the red dot on the Japanese flag is now green.
Well, those are the rules.
That's how it works.
It's in their constitution.
And congratulations to the new Emperor of Japan, Bill Gates. All right. So delays. We've got just a pair of delays I want to talk about here. Kerbal Space Program 2 delayed to 2023.
Again?
Yeah, that thing's just getting pushed and pushed and pushed. I hope it still comes out. I love Kerbal Space Program 1. They could do so much with a Kerbal Space Program 2 to like update it and make it look super slick, and I hope they get to it.
It maybe a little bit more. Even. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, that's what they did with between like Spin Tire / Mud Runner to Snow Runner. Is they really figured out like the gamified side of things, where it's like, oh, this is just a fun thing to like complete these tasks, and they could totally do that with Kerbal Space Program 2.
Even like Animal Crossing New Horizons kind of did a good job of like gamifying the Animal Crossing thing.
Right.
Where again, it was not the most elegant solution in the world. It's basically just with daily missions, but having some kind of a solution.
And then Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown is delayed to 2023, and they are canceling the last gen versions. Mike,
a lot of that going around.
Yes, gonna say, do you think we see even more of this? Right?
Yes. I think everyone is a bit over that, even with the supply issues and all that stuff. It's a nightmare development from those things, and just because people don't have PlayStation 5 yet doesn't necessarily mean that they're excited to buy more games for their PlayStation 4.
All right, let's do a little sales game, Mike. This is from Take Two. First, before we get to the quiz for you, I'll say that WWE 2K22 had the best opening month of all WWE 2K games ever. So that franchise is back and seems like it deserves it. That game seems to be mostly well received.
Yeah, it looks like they really turned things around there. It seems like they did a big push on the customization stuff. I mean, you know about that from the Kind of Funny League, right?
Yes.
And that has really helped that game. I mean, if you have a great customization, people are going to stream your game more, and it's just more exposure. More people are going to want to get involved. But yeah, 2K20 was a disaster. It was pretty bad, but it did just you almost need to hit rock bottom sometimes, right, Jeff? Because then you're able to say, well, now we can actually convince like the higher ups we need to take a whole year off and really figure this out. And they did. So yeah, good for them.
Yeah, it was the right choice and it worked out. It's nice to see it actually work and not just like, oh, it's slightly less of a disaster this year. Okay, so these are the series totals for things like Civilization, BioShock, Borderlands. I'm gonna just I'm gonna say the thing, and you're gonna say how many copies total the series has sold.
The series.
Yes. Let's start with Grand Theft Auto. How in total, how many copies has that series sold? Would you like a hint in terms of how many copies GTA 5 has sold by itself?
Right. I was trying to think. Is GTA 5 sold like 50 something million? No. Or is it much more than that? It's like 100 million.
It's 165 million for GTA 5 by itself.
It's crazy.
What the fuck?
Who doesn't have that game? I bet the other ones combined have not sold that much more. So let's say 200 million for the series.
375 million copies.
Jesus,
so
375. Oh my god. I guess. Oh my god. Wow.
That's a lot. Red Dead Redemption. The series. What is the series at? Do you want Red Dead Redemption 2 as a barometer?
I know Red Dead Redemption 2 is around 40 million.
Okay.
So I have that figured out. So I'm gonna guess 65 for the series.
Ooh, 67 million, right on the button, pretty much, Mike.
Close.
Okay. Red Dead Redemption 2 is 44 million. Okay. The Borderlands series. And again, I have Borderlands 3 here if you want it.
That's rough.
Yes, it is. That's a tough one, I think.
So it doesn't sound like crazy. Like Borderlands 3 probably sold like 8 million copies or something like that. Maybe not even.
Double that, actually.
16 million. Good for them.
15 million. 15 million for Borderlands 3.
That's a pretty surprising. And I know they said that Tina has been outperforming expectations. Let's say 60 million.
75 million copies. And then, okay, the BioShock series, I don't have any extra information here.
Well, that's interesting because that series has never sold like crazy well, but it's been remastered. It's been on sale a bunch. Let's say 30 million. 39
million. I think that's pretty close for that. That's more than I would have thought for sure. And then finally, the Civilization series.
That one's rough. Gosh,
keep in mind, like this one is almost always in the top 20 on Steam in terms of active players.
150 million.
That's overshoot, but I don't blame you. It's 62 million. I think 62 million.
I was gonna say something close to that, then you scared me with that Steam thing. I was like, maybe I'm way out of my depth here. Okay.
Yeah, so like 10 million copies per release. With obviously that's like favorite towards the more recent ones, but those are probably like 15 million each. But yeah, that's a lot. Okay. Let me see. I have this other one here. Let's do the from Capcom. Let's just do the Resident Evil series. What do you just do that one?
Resident Evil. That's hard. There's so many of those games.
Right.
350 million.
It's 125 million copies.
See? That's nuts. I would have thought more.
There's so Resident Evil 7's at 10.8 million. Resident Evil 2 remake, that's just the remake, is 9.6 million. I suppose like it is like there's a lot of them, but a lot of them come from a time when there were a lot fewer gamers.
Yeah, I guess it is funny. You think like, man, Resident Evil 1 was such a big deal. Like, well, back then it was like, wow, it sold 2 million copies.
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean, it's crazy.
And then Okami is at 3.7 million, just so you know.
Not bad for Okami.
Yeah, not bad at all. I guess, you know what, Monster Hunter series, and then we'll really be done. What do you think the Monster Hunter series is at? Again, that's million? What's that?
80 million?
Wow. Mike, it is at 80 million.
Oh, hey, got one.
Got one right on the money. Okay, very good. Okay, let's go on to some. Let's do this Embracer news real quick, and then we'll get into some quick bits, and then we'll move on. Embracer has over 223 games in development for the next. I think we're missing a number here, but I think that's like the next 5 years or so.
Yeah, half of them are Destroy All Humans remakes.
25 are AAA games by March of 2026. So I suppose that must mean by the next 3 years. Actually, we're talking about next 3 or 4 years. That's pretty good. They did say that you should expect reboots, remasters, and spin-offs from Eidos, Crystal Dynamics, and Square Enix Montreal, which probably needs a new name.
Yeah, right.
And then
probably.
How much? Okay, let's do another guess. How much money did Embracer lose last year? I don't know if you were looking at this in the rundown or not.
Oh God, I can't. This one, who knows?
$431 million.
Yeah, they're still in a buying phase. So
yeah,
makes sense.
And cheap money, and it's easy
even
for them to raise money.
Women.
But yeah, they're gonna have to. They're eventually gonna have to find a way to make money, I think. So we'll see. And probably soon, with the way the economy is working now, they probably soon are gonna have to find a way to turn this stuff into profits. All right.
Well, that's what all those games are for, I suppose.
I suppose so. Here are the quick bits. The Wholesome Games Showcase is coming June 11th at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. I have added that to the Game Mass list and the Discord. So if you want an update on the full calendar so far, that is in there. Fall Guys goes free to play on June 21st. It's heading to Xbox, Switch, and Epic Game Store. It's getting a map editor, and I want to see like how. I guess I should probably just look at it. But people are like comparing it to Super Mario Maker. I hope it's like a little bit like the Trials custom stuff, because you could just do some wild stuff with that. And I really hope they're going as wild as possible, and
it's
not just
really
like
open that game up though.
Right. I hope it's not just like slight remixes of stuff we've had before. Like I hope it's like really going all out. Remedy did like a conference call about like their plans. Here's an update for all the projects that we know about. Alan Wake 2 in 2023. Max Payne is in the concept stage. The Control sequel is in the prototype stage, so there's actually something to play, and it's prototyping. Control spinoff is in the concept stage, and then Vanguard, which is its free-to-play co-op game, is making progress, they said. So kind of hard to nail down exactly what that means, but a lot of games in development over at Remedy. And then Arma 4 is in development, and Techland is hiring for a new open-world fantasy game. And Mike, that does it for the news.
Good stuff, Jeff. Should we get to these super chats?
Please, let's do it.
All right. From Paul Heyman first, he asks, any info on when we will get Hell Divers 2?
No, I have no idea.
Sorry,
is that a real question? Because it's like Hell Divers 2 really happening?
Well, maybe just like the first one is hoping for another one.
Yeah.
I haven't played Hell Divers myself.
Yeah, me neither.
But thank you for super chat. Ariel Delgado says, "Bring out the dancing lobsters." Swan91 says, "Hi, Jeff, Mike, Grubb, and Mike, Jeff, Minotti." That's that's right. Your name actually is Jeff, Mike, Grubb. Mine is not Mike, Jeff, Minotti. Watching your show reminds me why I don't play as many multiplayer games. Hold on, I had to deal with this kid who does play a lot of multiplayer games. Believe it or not, it's just me. Uh Kyle Martin says, "Happy Friday, gamers. I feel obligated to let people know that Jeff called a warthog a minivan last weekend. Thoughts, Jeff? Is this true?
This is very true. I said,
Get it a minivan?
yeah, well, at first I just called it a van. I'm like, oh, the van dropped me off here. And then I saw chat being like, what did he just call it? And then I'm like, that's minivan. It's
this is the most dad energy thing you've ever done.
Yeah, they're like, oh my God, it's perfect coming out of Jeff. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. But now I'm just calling it a minivan from now on.
Tom Bristow says, will Replaced and Atomic Heart still be releasing? And would it be ethical to buy/play them? If so, made in Belarus and Russia, planned for Game Pass. Jeff, I'll let you tackle that one first.
Yeah, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. You're eventually all your money's going to go to like taxes, which pay for like military weapons that kill people. Does that excuse you from all the things you purchase? No, but I'm like hesitant about telling anybody that they are a bad person because they played a video game. Sure. Usually that's not the case. So if you want to play it, play it.
Supernova says, "Hi Jeff, Mike, Arby's Pros. Very important question. Will Jeff Keighley be in Death Stranding 2? Is his role in playing limited to explaining friendship between Kojima?" I am very confident saying that he will be in Death Stranding 2, right, Jeff? Wouldn't it be surprising if he wasn't? Maybe him and Conan O'Brien will share screen time this time.
Yeah, that's what I really want. They get those cats together finally.
Mm-hmm. Isaac Spencer says, "Been a while since I chatted, but just wanted to say thanks as always for the wonderful shows. You all are the best." Thank you, Isaac. Hope you're doing well. JC Carl Moreau says, "Gas so high I parked my cars in GTA and just walk." Pablo L says, "If Sony decides not to publish Death Stranding 2, does that mean it'll go multi-platform, or does Sony own the IP?" Sony might own that IP.
I think Sony owns the IP. I think yes, they might own it in unison with Kojima and Kojima Productions, but it at least has some ownership of it. Yes,
it's a Roger Rabbit situation. And guess what? They didn't make many more Roger Rabbits because it was difficult rate issues. But yeah, Sony's a multi-platform company anyway, so
yeah, exactly. It's going third party.
B Masune says, "If there's one Sony you would want Nintendo to give a try at, what would it be?" I assume Sony franchise. Same for Sony making a Nintendo game. What would that be? I feel like we had a similar question once. What Sony franchise should Nintendo work with? I don't want it to be any of their mascot platformers. Actually, I want it to be something like weirder. Like I want Nintendo to make a new Jet Moto.
I want them to make a Beyond Two Souls. There you go.
And what should Sony make from a Nintendo game? It should be opposite. Sony should get the most, like, Sony should make the new Yoshi game.
Yes,
or like that.
Should just make a Mario Party, something like that. Yeah.
King is Overrated says, "If Sony is looking at releasing Last of Us Remake this year, is it possible they may release it day and date with a PC port if a PC port is happening?" Jeff, we didn't talk about this, but rumors were saying that this Last of Us Remake is moving along.
Yeah, I figured we get questions about it. So yeah. So it's, I mean, the reason it's not news necessarily, it's like there was news everywhere else because I said it on a show, but the information is still the same information that we were saying earlier this year, that I've heard that it's coming this year, and I've heard no reason to think that has changed. I think that we'll probably get an update on it pretty soon. And I will say that I've heard a little bit about like maybe Factions isn't as whatever. I can't say much more.
Right.
But yes, I think The Last of Us Remake is probably coming this year still. And that's the last I heard, and I think there's no reason to think it wouldn't.
I know this isn't a very new or exciting opinion anymore, but I still am just confused about that. I mean, I'm not confused. I get it's going to make money, but it seems like one of the more cynical projects that you could do if you're Sony right now. It's just already remaking.
Yeah, I mean, right.
It's a cynical world, though.
Once you think about it, like, oh, they're doing it because they have a show coming, and it's just something they can get those people to do while they're waiting for the next thing at Naughty Dog. Like, there's just a lot of logistical reasons why to do it.
Nintendo Direct says, "A Nintendo Direct in June seems obvious, but the real question for me is, do you think it will be during the week of Summer Game Fest, the 9th to the 12th, or do you think it will be elsewhere in June?" What do you think, Jeff? I mean, we're still not super like Nintendo is Nintendo. They could just somehow not do one anyways, and we would all act like it's the end of the world, and it would be upsetting, but it would eventually not actually matter or impact them very much. I mean, in some ways, they already have a schedule set for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So The thing I was hearing, and I guess let's just talk about it now. It's not. Again, I wouldn't go rush to write headlines about this because this is very unconfirmed. But I've heard that maybe they might do multiple smaller showcases, smaller directs, maybe game-focused directs throughout June, and instead of one big show. I just don't know how much I believe that because I don't know. Even if that were like getting everyone together for a big direct has always served them well. So I just imagine they would still do that.
But they've done this kind of thing before, and it's always confusing. Why don't you just do a big direct? That's what people like. But they have made these.
They still sell a lot of games. So yeah.
Yeah. So, but I forgot to mention that the Last of Us remake question. Sorry. Is it going to come to PC port day and date? I think you said Grubb's next. It wouldn't surprise you, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't know, but I think a PC port would be very likely.
Yeah. Sorry, King. No, missed that part. Then from Bander SN, what's up with Wolfenstein 3? Machines, the last game was in 2017. Is Indiana Jones soon? Or are they really going 6 or 7 years without a full game release? I mean, welcome to 2022 game development. These things take longer to make than ever. And like we're seeing it with Elder Scrolls, right? If you decide to throw in a new franchise in the middle of your usual pipeline, that is really going to push things back.
Yeah, it's I know there's some like people getting their hopes up that a Wolfenstein 3 will get announced for this second half of this year. And listen, I would love that, but I've never heard that is happening. It really seems like that game is just MIA. I hope it happens. If it doesn't happen this year, I hope it happens soon. But there's no evidence that they're working on it. It does seem like they are putting all their efforts into Indiana Jones and maybe something like Quake or something.
I'm waiting for somebody in chat to super chat you to ask about factions now that you left us on that cliffhanger there, but we'll see.
All right, let me see.
I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, let me think if I can figure out a way to talk about it. All right, yep.
Supernova says, what do you know about factions? Supernova says, is one of the reasons for Starfield being delayed to not face Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 in the holiday season, or does the game need more polish? I don't think they really care that much about going against Modern Warfare 2 or not, Jeff.
Right, yes. Modern Warfare 2 is just going to be its own thing, and it sort of exists on its own now. You could, at this point, especially when there's so few other games coming out, I think you could just kind of put it out and not worry about it.
Man, Knoble said another Bakugan direct. Let's go. Did that Bakugan game ever come out, by the way?
I think it did. Yeah, I think it did.
It must have. Like, you think there would at least have been some media interest there just because it was that game from the direct, but even still, it just came out. No one cared.
No one cared. Yeah,
it's the new Bakugan game.
Right. Kids cared.
Some kids cared. That is it for the super chats for now, guys. We will still read your super chats if you send them in later in the show. There's we just got a new super chat in from King is Overrated asking, will factions come to PC? There you go, Mike. He's on the laughing thing.
Okay. I think that no game called Factions will ever come out, but but not in a bad way. Like they probably just decided they could do more. And that's all.
At this point, you almost expect something big like that. It's been so long, right?
Right. That's
for them to just release the multiplayer mode for The Last of Us Part 2.
Right. That's the stuff I was able to source in multiple places and that I would feel okay saying because everything else was kind of on lock. But yes, that's stuff that seems pretty well known in some circles that they are moving beyond their original smaller ambitions to something more. And that's as much as I could possibly say.
That makes sense. Colin also sent super chat asking, saying obligatory factions questions. What's up with it? So thank you, Colin. And King is Overrated for getting the truth out of Jeff Grubb here. Jeff Scrub, as some might say. Is it just something that's coming with the remake, Jeff?
I don't know. I think because I think they would probably pack. I don't know. I just the way that it seems like they are going for something much bigger. It seems like it's going to end up being one of those Jim Ryan 10 live service things, and in a big way. That's kind of how I think it's actually going to turn out.
The big one. Okay, that makes sense to me. Anyways, as I was saying, thank you for the super chats, but we are going to get to our Discord questions. We will still read all your super chats if you send them in. There's over 600 of you watching live. Thank you so much. Push that thumbs up button if you haven't. It helps even more people find the show. And we just love people. Jeff is the biggest people lover I have ever met. Don't forget, you can also now join our channel. That button is next to the subscribe button, and that will also get you access to those secret Discord servers that lets you ask these questions that we are about to read. Jeff, you can end this poll, by the way. It's upsetting, the one where you say spoilers ? The options were spoilers make me mad with 37%, and the other option is I'm an adult, which is winning at 63. I can't believe that I lost this one.
Yeah, and the polls had 515 votes, so a lot of adults out there, and I'm very proud of you. I have questions from the community. I was gonna.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right, let's see. Here one from Vintage Juicy incoming. Happy Friday, everyone. Just wanted to make sure you saw my name after Jeff seemed crushed that I did not have an amusing name last week. I came back prepared, and I am very appreciative because not only is it a fun name, it's a reference to something that makes Mike mad. Yeah.
No, it should just be BJ always, actually.
Jeff, to answer your question, yes, Xbox Live does let me use Vintage Juicy as my gamer tag. Wonderful. I'm very happy to hear that for you.
Great.
Anyway, Mike, are you really challenging Turbo Sean, a man that's been training for months for a major fighting game event, to Smash Brothers based on his, parenthetical, correct opinion on having items on in the game? Are you mad? And I think he means mad as in, like, have you lost your mind? P.S. Thanks for the shout out on Grubb Snacks, Jeff. Thanks for the help with that question.
Those try-hard Arc System work skills are not going to translate to Super Smash Brothers. So, no, I could take them, absolutely.
All right, I think we got a game night coming up here real soon, boys. I am looking forward to watching that.
We'll split it. We'll do some matches with items, some without, so we can get both of those in there. We can see if it benefits anybody.
We'll call it the Nerd Olympics. From Dr. Turbo Sus, hey, BNC boys, we know Sony is severely supply constrained and Microsoft much less so. Do you think this lack of PS5 availability is making casual gamers or FIFA/Madden/COD gamers shift from PlayStation to Xbox? I mean, shift is like a strong word. I think it's like, if you like games and you really want to have the next thing and you've waited and waited, and now, like, the new season is starting, and you want to have the new game, and you can get it on the new system, and it's right there. I think some people are choosing that as an option, and I think they'll still get a PlayStation when it comes out, or when they're able to get one. But this isn't. I don't know if it's a permanent shift, but it's like it helps Xbox. Obviously, it does, right?
Yeah, it can't be bad for them. Like, I don't know if it's really converting fans, but it's definitely at least. There's got to be some there. It's just, is it enough for a trend, right?
Right. From Casual. Dear Jeff, Tomahawk Steak Grubb, and Mike Filet Mignoni.
I like
pretty
that.
Good. Pretty good.
Oh, I'm hungry.
At some point during the summer, the likelihood of your cars being close to each other is high. This begs the question, out of the two of you, who would be the better victim of the prank where you drive in traffic, blissfully unaware of the honk if you're horny bumper sticker?
Jeff would just be confused and never understand what's happening.
Yeah, yes, that's okay. Very good point. Yes. I'd just be like, oh, people are mad at something? All right, whatever. I got to get these kids to school. Flustered. Yeah. And then I think you would eventually be like, oh, okay. And then, but you would get mad at first, I think, and then you would realize what's going on.
I'll get mad at first and then later find the humor in it.
Yes. From Winnie, my old roommate was in a Halo lobby years ago and asked, how'd you get that achievement? My roommate had been waiting all his life to be asked about his achievements and said, which one? The other player responded, the duck sucking achievement. What's the best, worst? Well, I think maybe, listen, I think he might have said, might have meant to say dick. What's the best, worst trash talking you've heard in a gaming lobby before?
Oh my gosh! My favorite gaming trash talk thing ever was when my brother and one friend used to, they were playing a lot of PlayStation All Stars Battle Royale. Like, me and my friends were the only people who actually liked that game, and the one was Mating Sackboy, and they were playing people online on PlayStation 3.
Boy.
Yeah, and like they were just, most of the people they played were children, and at one point these two children were destroying them, and as they were destroying them, the one in his 10-year-old voice was just like, "You don't know Sackboy." And to this day, that's like our go-to insult to each other is "You don't know Sackboy." Okay. Are you writing down "You don't know Sackboy"?
Yeah, no, yes. I'm like, well, I think we've actually named a podcast episode.
I think we actually have. I think I've told this story before. Yeah, I think we've named an episode.
You don't know Sackboy. But I'm still going to name it like Maining Sackboy, which is also a very funny idea.
Sackboy.
I'm Maining Sackboy.
Yeah.
All right. From Saklin, you may ask anyone in the gaming industry one question, and that person would have to answer truthfully. Whom would you ask them, and what question would you ask them?
I would ask Shigeru Miyamoto if a delayed game is good eventually. uh, no, man, this is an interesting one. I'm trying to think. What are some of these big? I mean, I feel like even the big questions, like I think we all expect there's some really interesting answer why Mother 3 never comes out here, but like it probably is just something stupid.
I
Like,
would ask Jim Ryan, what's his favorite video game? That's what I would ask. Yeah.
you'd ask Ryan, what's his favorite video game?
Yeah.
I guess I would almost want to ask Gabe Newell, like, does he actually care about Half-Life 3?
Yeah.
Or something like that. That's
I
like
mean,
the most interesting
Mike,
thing
I can
still.
tell the answer, and it's no.
No,
It's
right?
no.
That is still basically the one of the last few. Well, like I haven't seen it yet. There's a documentary that came out a little bit ago about that Raven Software developed Raven. Was it Raven Software? Or am I just thinking it was them because it was called Ravenhold? Like episode that they were making.
Right.
whenever it
That
came out,
probably is
stuff like that.
right.
Yeah. So there's a lot of questions. I still have a lot of questions in general about Half-Life being on this really high place. Episode 2 being amazing at this. Just like, well, we're done with that.
Yeah.
We're done making games. And again, the issue is I think I do know why. Because they're just making a lot more money off of Steam. So
Yeah.
they
Oh,
don't
yeah.
care anymore.
Yep.
And that's basically it.
From Muted and Ignored Bop. Happy Friday, Jeff, Tony Snell Grubb, and Mike Shrimptacular on Slayer Minotti. And Tony Snell, like, you could just Google the meme, Tony Snell meme, and you'll know what that's a reference to. But it's the guy that had like 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 everything, and then 27 minutes played, and that was me in that one round of Halo. What video game trailer do you go back to when you need to feel something again? Disclaimer: you can't. Come on, you can't use the Breath of the Wild trailer because that's the answer to the question. Thanks as always. Have a great weekend.
That's a very good one. I actually the CG intro to World of Warcraft Burning Crusade is fantastic. It's probably better than Expedition. So I loved the World of Warcraft CG cinematics so much more when they were mostly like player character montages with like a bit of the lore stuff thrown in. Like that new one for Dragonflight, it's real pretty. It's like I'm watching a Pixar short. And I feel like that sounds aspirational to some people, but it's not really what I want. I want just like a montage of these hype fun moments, like, you know, in the original World of Warcraft, they just showed the hunter with his bear. That was so cool. He's like, that's going to be my character. And it was. Mattathias got to the other one. The Kingdom Hearts 2 opening is also just insanely ridiculous. I watch that to get excited all the time. I used to watch the Wind Waker trailer a lot. And for a while, like the Zelda devs just kept using this one song from the Conan the Barbarian soundtrack, which is funny because it's the Legend of Zelda. Like they have the very famous theme song, but like, no, we're using this Conan the Barbarian song. And yeah, it was actually a very good song. So I used to watch that. I was like, oh, not the first Skyrim trailer, God Rizla. That one was like the teaser, basically showed the wall. The second one though, where like they really go all in. That's a top 5 trailer up there with the Breath of the Wild one for sure.
Super Mario Odyssey. There you go.
That one is that was great. I still remember us covering it, and you're trying to write about it. I was like, Jeff, he threw his hat onto the frog, and now he is the frog. Jeff.
God,
so
what a good
great.
game. From Dugan, Deciders, if you could start over with your gaming hobby, meaning you would not worry about the covering the beat and just play for fun, what would you start and how would you play? Thanks as always. I don't know. I think I'd probably just kind of do stuff pretty similar to how I do it now and mess around with weird games on Steam until I found something that clicked.
Yeah, I don't think too much would change. There's not too many games I have to play for work necessarily anymore.
Yeah, we've set it up so we wouldn't have to do much of that these days.
Yeah, we're selfish, so
yeah,
absolutely.
Like that's a good way to put it.
It helps that like game reviews are important, but it's not so important that you should play a game for 30 hours that you don't care about or it isn't that big a deal, stuff like that, right? And like even like I like never went back and finished Horizon, the sequel, not Zero Dawn, Forbidden West. I never put a score on it, and I don't feel bad about if I had not finished the game, put a score on it, I would feel bad, but I feel pretty good still writing a review in progress, you have to call it, basically saying everything I think I'll ever feel about that game, aside from just talking about the ending, which everyone else has already talked about anyways. I wish we could do more of that sometimes. To find a different word than review, I guess. A better thing than review in progress.
Right. From Jedi Moss 4, did people underestimate just how dire Microsoft's first-party infrastructure was in the Xbox One era? Before 2018, Microsoft only had 5 studios, 4 of which were for their big franchises: Halo, Gears, Forza, and Minecraft. The 5th was Rare. Microsoft was rushing to dismantle other studios before Spencer took over. Yeah, I do think that's a big part of the issue still, is that people only remember the most recent history of them making all these big acquisitions, and
right.
that 30 studios number, right? That big 30 studios number is massive. So how come we aren't getting 30 games every couple of years? Well, it's taking time to get this stuff in place, and yes, and they are coming from a really anemic first party studio situation that they're still addressing to this day. That's why they're acquiring so much stuff.
Yeah. So I said, what's a better word for Nick Turbo, for a review in progress? Nick Turbo said impressions. A Colin said quick look, and again that implies these quick things. I have fully formed opinions,
Right.
So I don't know how to do it. But yeah, people kind of forget how at the beginning of the Xbox One, the Xbox One was almost ashamed of being a game console. Microsoft was backpedaling on gaming. They didn't care they had so few studios. That was kind of part of the plan then. And then the Xbox One started doing well anyways, and everyone was kind of surprised how well that generation did at first. And they kind of have been playing catch up even to this day still to meet the demand that there is for gaming.
Yep. From Turbomed, and hello, Beef and Cheddar boys. Since there are many games that have incorporated the Souls formula with another IP, like Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order and Strangers in Paradise Final Fantasy Origins, what gaming or multimedia IP would you like to see take on the Souls-like formula? I'd love to see an XCOM Souls-like game, personally.
I do. I know that you can do Souls-like things without melee weapons, but I do still associate it heavily with melee. That's why Star Wars did make sense for it. So instead of doing Muso Fire Emblem games, I think a Souls-like Fire Emblem would actually be more exciting than that. Now, granted, that might just look too much like Stranger of Paradise at this point, but maybe that's okay.
I keep imagining, because they are the studio that did Armored Core, I keep imagining what the mech Souls game would be like, the Armored Souls, and I think you could do some cool stuff with fantasy sci-fi with mechs, and I really would like to see that next. Mm-hmm. From Jayton, do you guys think that Microsoft will make another deal with Ubisoft to launch Avatar Frontiers of Pandora day one on Game Pass this holiday? I don't know.
We're seeing that Microsoft has trouble getting major AAA games from these giant third-party studios on Game Pass on day one. It's maybe too big of an ask, no matter how much money you can throw at them.
Yep. From Morbinch JC, hello Jeff and Little Berry Boy. I'm guessing y'all have had to.
Berry Boy.
you're a little lad who likes berries and cream. I'm guessing y'all have had to room to spend a time together on a work trip. Oh, well, yes. Had to room or spend time on a work trip. Yes. What are some things that really piss you off that the other one does? A mic exists. That's a big issue.
Yeah. Well, I have how I act here is basically how I act. So I've been told I have this incredible ability to amuse myself, which means I'm often singing to myself, kind of talking to myself, just doing things. I bet that's probably very annoying to people.
Yeah. Yes, very annoying, Mike. No, for the most part, it's these work trips are relatively short, and it's not enough time to really get on each other's nerves all that much. So
yeah, not really.
It's still it's a fun slumber party.
To see Jeff.
Yeah. If it was 2 weeks, then I'm sure there'd be a problem. But that's true of most people. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask Dean, because me and Dean have had to share hotel rooms, he'll tell you the snoring is what he hates.
My snoring's bad too.
He's told me himself multiple times.
Start cheering now, says Happy Friday. What's the best first name, last name, pro occupation game title you can come up with? So it's first name, so blank, blank, pro blank, and the blanks are first name, last name, and occupation. So,
but is it related to gaming in some way?
I guess so, yeah. First name, last name, pro, occupation. It says game title you can come up with. So Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Oh, I got it. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so, yeah, Mario's Pro Plumbing.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Let's see. Sid Meier's Pro Math. Let's see. Steve Ballmer's Pro Yelling.
Jeff Grubb Pro Spoiler.
Yes, Jeff Grubb's Pro Spoilers. Absolutely.
I almost made a a Johnny Depp joke and thought better of it. Somebody on the there was like a thread in our Nintendogs YouTube video. People like, I can't believe that they sided with this one of the two celebrities, and I was like, man, I've not watched a single
I'm
moment
like,
of that
I don't. Yes,
trial.
that's the thing. Everyone assumes you sided. I'm like, I have not sided. I
I have
don't
not
give a
sided.
shit.
I find the notion of taking a side in this scenario appalling, to be honest.
Yes.
Like my only opinion on this thing is that it is disappointing that it has become some kind of cultural touchstone. So
Right,
clear,
that it's become part of this weird culture war, and it's like,
if we talked about it on Nintendogs, I immediately forgot. I don't remember. So yes,
right.
If you don't be disappointed in me in my opinions about that trial, because my opinion is that the whole thing, you shouldn't care about it.
Right. If anything, I think that everyone involved seems to kind of suck quite a bit. But that's it.
And we said before, look, we like garbage, and sometimes I understand you're just watching garbage, but don't act like it's important.
Right, for real.
And that other people's opinions of it is important.
From Beef Hammer, now that Sony has listened to their number one fanboy, Mike Minotti, and added Jumping Flash to the new PS Plus, I want Mike to explain why he likes this game and why we should all go play it.
It's great. Well, Jumping Flash 2 is even better. Jumping Flash 1 is fun. It's kind of a proto Metroid Prime in that, like, it's a first-person game with the tank controls and platforming that actually works, but much more like if that was more of an arcade shooter kind of a thing. You're in these small levels, you just have to go around, shoot all the enemies. It just feels surprisingly good for the concept, and the graphics are just like super wacky. I like that low polygon PlayStation look more than I like the kind of low muddy look of the Nintendo 64. This game's very bright and colorful. It's a trip. It just has a lot of charm. The second one's better because the levels are bigger and a bit more. There's a bit more going on, but the first one is still a lot of fun. And also, Jumping Flash is just this like weird bullet-shaped bunny robot. He's a great character. When he showed up in Astro's Playroom, boy, was I excited.
I also like those games. You should play them. From Hosp, hey yo boys, with ports / remasters absolute staples for most game companies, is there anything they could do to future-proof new titles coming out? It would be interesting to know if they even consider this at the moment, beyond maybe avoiding gimmicks like using microphones / motion controls, etc. Yeah, I mean,
I don't.
Go ahead.
Do they even want to? I think they like being able to remaster and resell games and things like that. And even like games that seem like they don't necessarily need remakes anymore, like The Last of Us, are getting remade anyway. Or even Dead Space in some ways, right? I could kind of argue that game still looks good. Like, we really need to remake it. I guess we are.
Yeah, I mean, like, obviously the reason for doing it has very little to do with the actual qualities of the game, right? Yes, it is much more about like what makes sense for business. But like, do companies try to avoid using microphone / motion controls for like long-term support? No, they will use whatever they need to use right now to sell right now. The concern is with selling games today. They're not worried about how they sell games tomorrow. Later. Yes, exactly.
That's future Nintendo's problem when they need to figure out how to get Skyward Sword onto a Switch.
Exactly, and they figured it out, and they'll sell it to us again because it makes business sense. From Jump Matt, hey guys, do you know how well the Ratchet & Clank PS3 games run on Steam Deck? I have not tried to play any of those, but I bet for the most part it's pretty fine, especially if you're willing to like drop it to like 540p, which still would look really good on that screen. But yeah, I would imagine it runs pretty good because I was running like other games and they was running great. What's that?
I want to play those so bad. Like, they're coming to the cloud streaming thing, which again is I'm gonna try. I'm gonna see how that works.
Sure.
But I'm gonna play into the next. I want to play the first Ratchet & Clank future game, Tools of Destruction, but that one wasn't on the list. All the other ones were, I think, the 3 other ones. But I mean, like, that's a game. If there's like a bit of input lag or a bit of stuttering, it's just unplayable to me right there. So.
From Mr. Bowler, hey BNCBs. Outside of the major studios, Xbox, Nintendo, maybe Sony, what other publishers and developers might have their own show during the game mess? Is Gearbox going to have a show of just Randy Pitchford bothering celebrities again? God, I hope so.
Oh man, I almost forgot. What a weird show that was. I don't know, because like, gosh, it's kind of a weird time for Ubisoft. A lot of these other companies that used to do it, Bethesda used to do one. They got acquired. Activision Blizzard never did one. I mean, is EA gonna do something? Because it seems like they're gonna just announce some Star Wars stuff soon.
EA said they're not doing anything this year.
EA is not doing anything aside from maybe what we'll see at Star Wars Celebration.
Exactly. Yes.
So I don't know. Not really something like Capcom's gonna do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe Ubisoft might have something because they just are trying to position themselves or whatever, and maybe that's why Square Enix does a big Final Fantasy thing as well. But yeah, I think a lot of companies will probably just end up in other companies' shows. From Jamie H, I would happily hear nothing from Sony until September if it meant that instead we get a Final Fantasy showcase in June that shows off 16 and 7-2 and dates on 1 through 6 on Switch. There's no question here, Mike, but how do you feel about that?
That's what I originally thought, Jeff. I was like, yeah, those were the 3 announcements that I could see happening until I began thinking maybe the Final Fantasy 7 remake news is just that it's coming to Xbox,
right?
Which
would be news.
A showcase in June, so we'll see. I mean, they could. I mean, at some point they're gonna have to announce 7 remake 2, and they almost kind of can whenever they want to. Just depends how much time they want to take to make a trailer and how early they feel comfortable announcing that one. So I just don't know. Oh, my stomach's rumbling. I don't know if I can pick that up.
No, but we'll get you out of here soon, because I'm getting hungry too.
There's no rush. I'm having fun. I like doing this, but I'm just saying it's going to be exciting to eat afterwards also.
Yeah, hunger's the best spice by far. Right. From Delta Prime 84, hey, Beef and Cheddar boys. Hey. Are you expecting any games from the NVIDIA leak to show up in the Game Mess this year? And if so, which ones? I can't remember specifics anymore from that list. I suppose... Well, we already got the Kingdom Hearts 4
We got Kingdom Hearts 4, yeah. I know there are some big ones on there still.
Right.
And now, Final Fantasy 9 Remake was the other big one for me. So that would be...
Maybe, yeah, there you go. Do you think I think that could pop up this year? Why not?
I would hope so. I would, well, yeah, I'm really curious to see that one. I'm not wearing my Final Fantasy 9 shirt right now, but it's also over there. It came in today.
Untitled, the initiative game. I mean, that's stuff like there's a lot of stuff from Microsoft. Tactics. Yeah,
man, those are 2 other things that they could announce at a quote unquote Final Fantasy show. Man, they could have just a Final Fantasy show if they wanted to, huh?
Yes. Dragon's Dogma 2. Let's just say that shows up this year. That'd be fun.
Sure.
All right, let me get back to these questions. From Ezipsis? Yes, from Ezipsis. I'm sorry, Easy Ipsis. Hey, Mike, how did your love for Disney start, and how many times have you been to Disneyland/World? Ohio is very far from those parks, isn't it? But you seem to be very knowledgeable about them. It seems accusatory.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I was pretty privileged that I got to go a bunch when I was a kid, and I went I don't remember my first time going. It was just a thing that, as far back as I can remember, we would go to Disney World like once every year, basically. So yeah, incredibly privileged, and it left a big impression. I liked it a lot, and my 2 brothers liked it equally. So it's just this shared thing that we would just always kind of talk about and think about. So yeah, that's came from. It's been a lot. I'm almost embarrassed to say how many times I went there. I'll be honest, because I probably should have developed more experiences while traveling. But instead, we just keep going there.
From Lally Sup. Hey guys, Jeff recently mentioned an NHL player cooling his bottom with a couple of Bud Lights in the offseason. This makes me wonder what's the offseason for games media, and is there anything special you do? Thanks. So yeah, real quick.
January, but
yeah, right. Yeah, it used to be like right early in the year, but now that's busier than ever. Yeah, Brady Tkachuk, who's the brother of Matt Tkachuk, who's playing for Calgary Flames, is supporting his brother by going to his games and like cheering for him. And he's like always got a Bud Light in one hand, but he was going up the stairs to like probably go to the bathroom or something, and he had a Bud Light in each of his back pockets. So he's like he was totally like set for the rest of the game, and I'm like, oh man, he's living his best life. It's basically the same thing for us at some point, like maybe in July in this year, like after E3.
Yeah, right after this E3. I mean, there's that 1 year or 2 years ago when you started the Game Mess, because it was such a mess, and that's why it felt so awful. Was because normally we're used to some kind of break, and it just kept going, and it was draining. But this year, because things seem slightly more consolidated, at least maybe there'll be a post E3, quote unquote. There's no E3, but maybe we'll still have a post E3.
Yeah, exactly. From Shoji Kodo, hey guys, what is one game announcement this year that would cause you to just absolutely lose your minds? Can be something we know about already, can be an old IP you want revived, or even a dream game of yours that you wish a developer would make someday, no matter how niche or specific to you. I think for me it'd be something like an older Nintendo franchise. If they did like Wave Race or 1080 or like an Excite, bike psych trucks sort of thing, that would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, it probably would be Nintendo if they just show that next Mario game, especially Mario
Yeah, I
Odyssey
mean,
or
of
whatever,
course.
I would lose my mind. I would probably freak out. I'd be very excited if it was like something real crazy, like we're bringing back Star Tropics. Then sure, I would probably absolutely lose it because I would just never actually believe that would happen. And yeah, that would be pretty great. But there's like F-Zero too. Yeah, a lot of the either new Mario, which will happen at some point, but still, I'm just so excited about it, or like that Nintendo stuff that's been so long, I've almost written it off. Even like F-Zero.
From Epic Open World, hello, Beef Boys. Stranger of Paradise was patched on PC, so now players don't have to mod the hair off characters, so it runs at a decent frame rate. Jeff, if, say, Crystal Dynamics tried to render your hair using UE5, would it even be possible and have the game run at more than 5 frames per second? Would a 3090 be powerful enough? I mean, for these hair flaps, I don't think so.
What about my hair? Do you think it can handle it?
Yeah, I think it'd be fun. From Octo, do you think there's anyone left at Konami that actually cares about video games? And if so, how shitty must life have been for him or her in the past 10-ish years? That aside, do you think there's a chance of Konami successfully getting back into space if they want to?
Well, it sounds like they kind of are with all this Silent Hill stuff. Now, is that a desire to get back to games, or is it desire to kind of catch this Silent Hill wave of nostalgia that's been rushing over everyone that makes them seem just absolutely ravenous for Silent Hill content?
Right, and it's and he mentions that here in the second half of his stuff here, but like, yeah, the Silent Hill stuff definitely makes it sound like that's what they're doing. I think that they see an opportunity to go back and especially now that they're making so much money from Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe they're like, okay, now we can grow even more, and what can we do? We could bring back some of this other stuff. It still seems driven by desire to make money in any way it can, and it just so happens that right now maybe the thing that makes the most sense is those video games that we care about. So yeah. From One Up versus CPU, back in October 2021, VGC posted this article claiming they were told that a Castlevania reimagining is in the works at Konami. They say it's being made in Japan with other local devs as support, so it sounds kind of big and probably 3D. I'm honestly kind of worried. Iga was the only one there who understood the series. Think this could be at not E3. Maybe.
Well, they were going to have an E3. They were going to do something at E3 last year, and then they pulled out. And maybe that was, some of the Silent Hill stuff, and maybe it was Castlevania. My interest in 3D Castlevania, Jeff, is severely lower than my interest in like the 2D Metroidvania E ones.
I mean, we have 3D Castlevania, and it's called FromSoft Games. I mean,
basically, right?
Yeah.
Although I'm kind of interested in playing those PlayStation 2 ones. They're supposed to be okay. Curse of
You never played those? They're good.
Innocence and Curse of Dark. Yeah, but those are basically like really making kind of almost simple 3D versions of the 2D Metroidvania games.
Right.
Then there's like Lord of Shadow, which was like a God of War thing, which
right.
isn't bad. But people have like done a slight U-turn on the Nintendo 64 Castlevania games, which I thought everybody agreed was horrible. Now people like defend those, which is
there's some good stuff happening in those games. They're not like perfect, and there was reasons why people didn't like them at the time, but most of those reasons were it didn't feel like Castlevania. It felt like something different, but I don't know. I like them. From Engine 25, Jeffy Grubb, Counselor Most High, Hierarch of the Gaming. You went on Kind of Funny this week and talked about Microsoft in 2022 and 2023 following the devastating but all too expected delays of Starfield and Redfall. You listed a ton of games that they were targeting for 2023, and I kind of take that as we're aiming for all these games to hit 2023 with the expectation that several of them will be pushed into 2024 and beyond. Is that a fair assumption? Yes, that absolutely is. Like the list of games was like Everwild was on that list, and of course that's not coming out anytime in the next several years. So 2023, probably not 2024. Like that seems like something that if it ever comes out would be like 2025 at the earliest. So yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Let's see. From Running Riot, hello Jeff and Little Berry Boy Mike.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. I am not a little berry boy.
Well, when you say it like that, I am not a little berry boy. Settled debate: is cheesecake a pie or a cake? And then Running Riot says it's pie. And there's an emoji voting happening underneath it, and right now someone else just voted. Running Riot, so 3 for pie and 2 for cake, I believe.
Interesting. So, the best cheesecakes I ever had, was a family friend would make them, and he would actually just straight up he would make pie crust. He wouldn't do that graham cracker thing. It was actually much better. I liked that a lot. So, man, it kind of is a pie, isn't it? It's very custardy, and it has like that crust.
Hey,
Cakes don't
Google
have crust.
Broadcast.
Cakes don't have crust. I think I might actually go pie, which is strange because it has the word cake in it. I mean, look, it could be a bit of both.
Is cheesecake a pie or a cake?
Oh, let's get an expert opinion here.
All right, so I'm broadcasting. We'll see what she says. I think it's a cake, but I guess I haven't thought about it all this much. And you were with all the stuff you were saying, it's like, yeah, that really sounds like it could be pie for sure.
I mean, I think cake. I'll tell you what. A cake has to be like when you say cake, you think about that cakey part. The sweet bread.
Right. Turbosean says it's the same as pumpkin pie, which it is, right? It's very
similar to pumpkin pie.
Yeah.
Especially when you had the version I had where they literally just use a pie crust. It even looks like it, just a slightly different cut. Man, we named this thing the wrong thing all this time. It's cheese pie. Which sounds disgusting.
It's disgusting. So now I get it. I get why we don't call it that. I've switched my vote, so it's 6 for pie and 2 for cake now. Should I make do you guys want me to make a poll? Okay, poll. Yeah. All right, here we go.
Oh, man. How good is Cheesecake Factory sounding right now? Then I'll eat too much, giant
real
pasta
food,
dish and pot stickers as an appetizer, and then I'll never be able to have room for cheesecake. But it's a sandwich.
All right. So Nintendo Bro, hello, little berry boys. All right, so I got included on it. What's more important, the berries or the cream?
Neither. They're both gross.
I'm a little lad who likes berries and cream. So I like them both.
Either, and I like them together even less. From
Laushin. Hey guys, hope you guys had a good week. Chicos de Tenera y queso cheddar. So I believe this means the boys who are of the beef and cheddar. You wake up in a dystopian world, everything is the same, but all the Arby's are closed. Where do you go to get a great sandwich?
No. It's just the supermarket now. I have to try to make my own.
Yes, they really are the only place to do that kind of roast beef sandwich. I guess quickly, I'd have to go to an actual restaurant, and even then,
I
deli.
see you mean a chain. Obviously, I could go to an actual deli, which we don't have a ton of good ones in Ohio, as you can imagine. I used to love Quiznos Boat Night. Quiznos, it was probably a good thing they closed. They had some kind of Alfredo chicken carbonara sandwich. It had a unique flavor to it that I like. It was very zesty for. They call it carbonara. It's basically Alfredo with some spices in it, but it tasted very good. I don't know. We have, that's the thing. We have a zillion sub places now, right? That's where you go for sandwiches, and they're all fine. But this, I actually don't think any of them are really any better than Subway. So I may as well just go to Subway than a Firehouse Subs or a Jersey Mike's or what have you.
Yeah, there's a deli in downtown Columbus, Ohio. Schlesingers, something like that. I can't remember what it is, but they have good sandwiches. It's been on the Food Network before and stuff.
Right. We have the one good one called Kravitz, which is a few towns over, but it'd be a 20-minute drive for me to get there, and I'm not driving that far for a sandwich. I'm just not.
I mean, the Arby's is right in your house, so of course.
Right. Yeah, pretty much.
From Vision 49, happy Friday. Which game console / handheld has the best packaging for its games? The Virtual Boy.
That's actually not bad. No, the Genesis, back when it was those hard cases and it had that grid pattern, it was great. And then meanwhile, when they did the cardboard boxes with just that red line that says Genesis, that looks awful. Mm-hmm. Not nearly as good. The game I also liked. GameCube one. Yeah, GameCube's pretty good for the just DVD cover ones. I liked the GameCube quite a bit.
Yeah, I like the striking red plastic of the Virtual Boy cases and stuff, and the red stripe. Things like that.
It's not wrong. It's pretty good.
Also, there's not a ton of them, so I haven't got chance to get used to it, and that helped. From let's see, where are we at? From OKW, Arby's has hired you as ambassadors to the gamers. As such, you have been tasked with selecting a pre-existing video game character as a mascot to appear in marketing material and get an Arby's-themed entry in the series. Which video game character best embodies the spirit of the beef and cheddar?
Lady Demonstraw.
Man, that's a very good answer. That's powerful. Yeah. No, you Dimitrescu.
Dimitrescu.
Yeah, because you're about to say the U and then you stop. in his
big,
fist.
big Resident Evil lady.
Yeah, her and Pauline from Super Mario Odyssey, like them together, just big ladies. Yeah, there we go. Also,
big. I know that Rosalina's big. I see that they keep shrinking Pauline lately. Actually, I saw
they did
complaining about that.
Right, so she's very big in Super Mario Odyssey. Yes. So yeah, like at least compared to Mario. Also, this question had the word ambassador in it, and made me think about all these people freaking out about that Xbox ambassador lady who was like, I got into gaming by mostly watching my partner play, and then I play some games sometimes, and they're like, you don't even play games, and you're an ambassador?
It's like the word doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and it's like, first of all, what do you think the word ambassador means? Like, I'm the ambassador to Portugal. Well, you're not Portuguese. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, that's not what ambassador means. It drives me crazy. Drives me nuts, actually. From God Rizla, for the strangest news of the week that I have seen, and is the strangest crossover in a game I have ever seen, I think. And it's Slipknot cross Smite. Okay, that is pretty strange. That is
pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. He says, "Happy Friday, beef and cheddar boys." Thank you, God Rizla. Turbo Giggy 64. Ahoy, Jeff, Admiral of the Chet Armada, Grubb, and Mike. It's Virtua and not virtual. Minotti.
Can you believe that? Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that. Oh, wait, you didn't know that? I thought this is you correcting somebody.
No, I had a Twitter thing where I was watching. I was like, wait, it's Virtua Fighter, and then I was like, are you telling me it was also Virtua Tennis and Virtua Racing? Everyone's like, yes.
Yeah.
And apparently, the only one that's actually virtual is Virtual On.
Right. So okay.
I don't know why. That I was like, they refused to take the L. Get it? But yeah. That was...
Okay.
I tell you what,
someone called it Virtual Boy without Virtual Boy, and I'm like, no, that's wrong actually, because it's Nintendo. It's a different company.
I mean, as a kid, I feel like we all just called it Virtual Cop, Virtual Fighter,
I wish this was...
Virtual Racer.
Why couldn't this have been a Jeopardy question? God.
Yeah.
Virtua. Yeah.
Even just reading it, Virtua Cop, it's weird. Virtua.
But they could TM it. They could trademark it. That's the thing, because it's not a real word.
Trademark Virtual Cop. Maybe they can. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they could, but it's probably a little bit harder. I bet there's been like Virtual Cop like short story before that or something.
Turbo Sean said Virtual On had a longer tail in Japan. Someone's probably asked this question before. Virtual On might take the award for game series that I always pretended to like more than I actually did. Whenever they would make a new one, I was like, wow, yeah, Virtual On. Then I would play it. It'd be kind of like clunky and slow, and like that.
I
weird.
Had fun at the arcade because I would always beat people because the people like struggled with the controls.
It's a decent arcade game.
Yeah,
but like owning it on the Dreamcast, I was like,
no, I never wanted to own it.
Do I actually want to play this? I don't know.
Let's see. From did I actually? No, from Turbo Giggy. I recently played Rogue Squadron 3 and noticed that Max from Sam and Max shows up as a car ornament in the Buick when in cockpit mode. Do you have any favorite Easter eggs or callbacks in games? I'm sure I do that I can't think of.
Oh, yeah. I lost my mind when Uncharted 4 had all those Guybrush Threepwood references. It actually drove me crazy because I was reviewing that game and I just wanted to talk about it with somebody, but there's no one online to, and I didn't want to, unlike some people, I didn't want to spoil it for my brother, so I didn't just tell them about it. I had to wait till they played it. But at the time,
kids.
I was giddy about it. It was so fun.
You heard me say something about cheesecake? Do you want some now?
I thought she was gonna yell.
All right, we'll get some. All right.
I thought she was gonna yell at you for dropping that F-bomb just now.
No, she doesn't care about swearing. She just cares about cheesecake. Yeah, what's up? Oh yeah, go tell Mama we'll get cheesecake. Okay.
I want cheesecake.
Okay, say something. Go ahead. Let me finish my show. Okay.
I kind of remember that. I didn't play Force Unleashed 2 like a lot of people. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to.
Okay, go ahead and tell her.
Conversation between a kid and this grown kid.
Okay.
What's going on?
Okay, she wants to do the broadcast thing. You just got to go tell. Okay, she's going away. All right. From Patrick Hand. Hey guys, when my oldest was born, my wife bought me a pair of New Balance shoes as a joke. Now I've embraced the dad energy, and they're basically all I wear. What's something you guys?
They're the most comfortable. I was always wearing New Balance shoes, and then like all of a sudden, like 2 years ago, it became a thing that people wear New Balance shoes, and people started making fun of me. I was like, screw you, these are great. They're comfy.
It's just, to me, it's like, oh, this is white culture. It's New Balance shoes. It's like,
what else are you supposed to wear while you eat Arby's and watch Frasier, right?
Yes, and walk leisurely around a theme park. Yes. What's something you guys started doing as a joke, and now it's something you actually like and enjoy? My minivan. I was a joke like, oh, minivans are just like if an SUV was good. I was kind of doing that as a joke, and now I truly and honestly know that is the truth.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm a very sincere person, and I don't. Yeah, I usually just do things. I don't think too much about what society is going to think about it. I'm just very edgy and cool that way, Jeff. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I have an answer.
Addy, come here. I got a question for you. Come here, just real quick. This is for the show, everybody. Okay, so I got asked by one Turbo Sean who says, "Yo, Jeff, what do the experts say? Is Crystal a meep?" All right, Addy, look at that picture.
Oh no!
You see it right there, right there. Is that a meep?
No.
No, it's not a meep. What is it? Is it just a lady fox? Okay, so no meep.
It's a disgusting perversion.
Yeah. Oh, it is a meep. Well, can you say it's weird?
It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. I agree.
Well, is it a meep or not? I've heard both. I need one more clarification.
Okay, look at it closely, and this is the deciding answer. Is that a meep? Yes. Okay. So there you go, everybody. Thanks for your help. Go play. Hey, you're not wearing a diaper.
Sure.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna find some shit somewhere later.
More than likely. All right. From Danger Man Leet. Hey guys, NVIDIA RTX 40 rumors and concrete leaks happening in the last week. Oh boy, I am sick and tired of this current gen of cards. I think I may go all out after skipping the last 2 gen of cards. Going to be a huge leap for my 1080 Ti. People will say, oh, double or more over the 3090 or 3090 Ti is overkill. But since I want a fancy super ultra wide this year as well, give me that power, especially the miners are going away. Yeah, I think this is going to be a nice generation for people to upgrade. It's definitely true because, that 30 series was very good, but it was a nightmare because people couldn't get their hands on it. And so it became this very frustrating thing.
Yeah, I freaked out. I finally sold them just at Best Buy the other day. That's when, right before I bought one for like $1,000. I called Jeff like, "Do you just have one of these that you sent me?" He's like, "Yes." Thank God it was one of the rare times Jeff picked up the phone when I called him. So.
Yeah, I was like, Mike Minotti's calling me. What the hell? Yeah, so I answered it. And so you got that 3070 Ti. You got to get a better power supply.
Yeah, I installed it, but yeah, I need to get a power supply after this. Actually, I'll get lunch and I'll hop into Best Buy.
3070 Ti is a very good card, so you're gonna get a lot out of that.
Man, the first thing I did was just start up Final Fantasy 14. It's like, wow, I can use the max settings now. And then kept doing what I was always doing. So.
Yeah, it's a step up over the 20 series because the 20 series was very much not a leap over the 10 series because the 10 series was way better than it had any need to be because they were worried about AMD. And then, so the 20 series was just basically that again, but now it had ray tracing, and there were no games that supported ray tracing. And the 20 series or the 30 series over the 20 series was actually a pretty significant jump, in my opinion. Let's see, last few things here. People asking questions right this second. Hey, Jeff, if you ever want a good Japanese curry recipe, I can help you out. I used to be a chef in Austin, and I dabbled in Asian cuisine. Also, apples and curry is good. Mike, stop hating on good food. Mike will never be okay with apples.
No, I know we make jokes about the fruit thing and whatever, but apples, I actually just I despise. There's one.
You are afraid of them.
I am borderline phobic. It's true.
Yes.
My friend, ask my friends like, what's the name one thing Mike hates, and they'll say apples. I don't know why. I don't just dislike them. They weird me out.
From so these trees growing these bulbous little things. I guess I can get it. Feels a little bit alien. Nick Turbo, will you do a live stream after each big press conference this year like you did for E3 last year? We will probably do something along those lines. It'll probably be later in the evenings just because it will be busy. But yes, I think we'll have something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. To be determined, but I'm sure we'll do something.
Yes. Especially as we get closer to figuring out what the schedule is. Okay.
But that doesn't. I'm going to be. Oh, I don't even know how to say that. Yeah, I don't know.
I was going to say, I am done with the questions, Mike. So, what were you going to say?
We got some more super chats.
Okay, do it.
And Paul Heyman clarified his question about Helldivers by saying Helldivers 2 was on the GeForce leaked games list. Not sure how accurate it is. Keeping my fingers crossed for it this year. Well, I'll keep my fingers crossed too.
Yes,
hope
there you
that
go.
You get what you want. You all deserve what you got coming to you, which sounds like a threat. Maybe it is.
I should play Helldivers. Yes, Rachel, you'll participate as well.
Yes, of course. Julio Guzman says anything on Resident Evil 2 remake current gen update. release. Has that not had a current gen update? Man, that game was maybe the best looking game on the last generation already. It
Right.
might not need too much of one.
Right. I don't know. They'll probably put out something eventually just to sell that stuff again. But like, oh, the patch is here now, so now you should buy it. Or maybe they'll just repackage it and say now it also comes with that update built in if you get it for these new systems. But
I mean,
yeah, they don't need it.
They can almost repackage it maybe with 3, although they could. I don't know why they would do that because they could just sell both of them for full price.
Right.
M2IJ, maybe a 1, I'm not sure. Let's say M21J says Spider-Man on Steam Deck is within reach. Is it within reach, Jeff?
Spider-Man was on PS4. It was PS4 emulation. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'll just play Spider-Man 2 for the PlayStation 2
Yeah, that's
and
what
GameCube. Yeah, that's
like
within
those
reach.
games.
I did do that. Yes.
That or like that's the PlayStation 1 Spider-Man game that I also like. I actually never played the sequel to that, the Electro one. Maybe that'd be fun.
Right.
King of Games 405 says, since Dragon Age 4 may not be out for a while, do you think EA would remaster an older Dragon Age game kind of like Mass Effect? Jeff, we talked about this here or there that if they did, we almost would maybe think they would just remaster Dragon Age Origins instead of doing a whole remake or a whole trilogy thing.
And it doesn't seem like there's any plans to even do that at the time. But if they were going to do it, I agree it would just be Origins.
Colin says, any word on Microsoft spin-offs based on their first party games? Halo Wars 3, Gears Tactic 2. I could have sworn you mentioned Elder Scrolls RTS in the past. Did we ever talk about an Elder Scrolls RTS? I don't remember that. It sounds cool. I kind of wish.
That'd be something that might make sense, like in terms of like representing the big wars they always talk about in the books and stuff like that. But I don't think I've ever heard anything along those lines. They will continue working on a lot of stuff. I'll say the Coalition is doing like a smaller game. Maybe that turns into a spinoff of Gears or something. But I don't know. They do have a lot of studios, but even still they're very busy. So there's not a lot of space to do a lot of extra stuff.
Last one here from Edward King. With the Xbox showcase being over 3 weeks away, any solid idea what games will be shown? Usually around this time, the games for the showcase leaks out. Well, last year the whole thing leaked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it leaked, but I didn't like share it with anybody except for like right before it started. I put it in our Discord, and so
shared it with me.
I shared it with you, right? Yes. But it didn't leak anywhere else because there was all these other like things that were just like wrong. It was just actually there was a bunch of people who just had the wrong information about Avowed and about all kinds of other stuff, and the only, and not to like toot my own horn, but like, only I had the full list, and so I'm like skeptical that we'll get again this year because I haven't got it, and I am not really expecting to this year because they seem very tightly locked down.
Yeah, it seems like they maybe have plugged up some of those leaks for this year, or at least for now.
Right. We'll probably get some word like here or there about some games, but yeah, I just wouldn't expect like, oh, we're gonna hear like for sure like this game's gonna be there, and then it's gonna come and it'll be like, oh, that didn't happen. Like that's gonna happen again this year.
Master Chief comes.
Master Chief will come though. That's for sure. Mike, that was the last of the questions.
That was the last of the super chats for now. If you guys want to squeeze one or two more in here, we will get to it. But Jeff, have you been playing anything interesting?
I installed SnowRunner on my Steam Deck, and that's all I've been playing.
That. Yeah. I like how I was like, Jeff, I went back and played SteamWorld Dig 2, and I gave it a good try, and I did like it, actually. That's fine. Are you going to play Hollow Knight? Yeah, sure. Actually, what you're going to do is just play more games about trucks and mud.
Okay, I'll do Hollow Knight next. Let's see if we get Hollow Knight in before E3 actually kicks off. That'd be fun. I really do think I'll probably end up enjoying that game quite a bit. I just need to like get into the flow of it.
Bring balance to the Force.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, I'll do that next. Fine, guilt me. How about you? What have you been playing?
Nothing too much new, and maybe. Can I talk about the one thing, actually? I'm not even sure, so I better not. I think maybe I can, but I'll wait. But yeah, a lot more Final Fantasy. Well, I did start Tales of Monkey Island since we beat Escape Monkey Island. So I played the first episode of that. That was the episodic Telltale series. And it's weird because it's like a little bit before Walking Dead, where that was a big hit, and then they still made like episodic quote-unquote adventure games, but they were much more dialogue tree games and less like solving inventory puzzles and stuff like that, right?
Right.
And I was never really that much into the that Telltale narrative game thing. I mean, it was like a big, Walking Dead season was a giant deal at the time. They won a bunch of Game of the Year awards, right? And then that was their focus until it became this weird bloated thing where they were getting these giant franchises like Guardians of the Galaxy and Game of Thrones, but then everyone was kind of over it.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool that they did so much stuff, but it definitely was of its time and of its place. I mean, I get they're going to try to go back to, but we'll see.
Apparently my iWatch thought I was talking to it. But yeah, I enjoyed the first episode. I still remember at the time liking how, because the episodic nature, you can kind of play these things in one sitting. And even though it's episodes, there is something like a start and a middle and an end to it that's kind of nice. The puzzles were pretty good. Some of the characters are bad. Like the bad guy is this weird, like painted face French stereotype. And I don't like him. And not in a way that I'm not supposed to like him. Like he's annoying. He's not funny. But I've been enjoying it. I'm excited to start episode 2. We will probably do that at some point. I think I might be busy tonight with the Jeopardy, and then I think I'm watching the Chip and Dale movie, unless Jeff wants to spoil anything else about it for me. But...
Oh, okay. So you're not going to watch it because I spoil it, huh?
What?
Is that how spoilers work?
Oh,
I've been spoiled, so now I can't watch it.
That was a joke, Jeff. Calm down.
Well, I'm sorry.
I'm just going to enjoy it less when I do watch it.
I just figured you'd be so serious about this very serious topic of spoilers.
I'm going to wait. There's going to be something you care about. I'm going to find a spoiler, and I'm going to tell you, and then we'll see. We'll see what you think about it. We'll see you pretend that you don't care or whatever. I don't even know what it could be anymore, because the only things you care about is getting trucks out of mud. So I can't be like, guess what? You get the truck out of the mud.
Oh, I do. Damn it. Spoilers. All right. Listen, I think what this is it's time to wrap up the show because we're starting to go at each other's throats.
Yes, before friendships end.
Yes, over rescue rangers,
as most friendships do.
All right, 211 votes. People not quite as interested in this. Cheesecake is 53% say cake, 46% say pie. I bet that is mostly people who have never really thought about making a cheesecake before. I bet most of these people haven't even eaten one.
See, I have made cheesecakes, and it is much more like making a pie. That's true. I mean, there's no flour in it. Unless you do the crust, which most people don't. Most people don't even do. Most people for the crust just crash up graham crackers and put a bunch of sugar and butter in there. Yeah, like what is cakey about it? There's nothing cakey about it.
Yeah, it doesn't feel
like a cake. It was always going to have a hard time in a poll because it is called cheesecake, right?
Sure, right. Absolutely. Hit a spoil steamroll dig 3 for Jeff. Go for it.
Jeff doesn't care about the story for that. No one does. That's the thing. Jeff usually has no interest in the story, so it's hard to narratively spoil video games.
You would have to like spoil like a mechanical thing in a game. I'm serious. Like if you were to spoil like some like late cool thing in Mario Odyssey, not a story.
If I told Jeff, and this is a spoiler for Mario Odyssey, if I told Jeff, oh babe,
like the closest thing. Oh, did my internet die?
Upset.
Right?
No,
I think that probably would have got me. Oh, hey, and the internet is dead. Okay. I think we're coming back. Hang on.
I was wondering why you paused.
Yeah, it was a huge hiccup, but it looks like it's back. All right.
Well, let's get out of here before you. Oh, we got one more super chat in.
Okay, let's do it.
Ariel Degas says, "Do you think we'll ever get another AAA Spawn game?" No,
I don't think so.
No,
probably not.
Never,
ever. Okay, yes. I mean, listen, on your deathbed, if it happens, I'm gonna be there. I'll be like, listen, you were so wrong about this, you dumb piece of shit, and then you're gonna die. It's gonna be very good.
You guys didn't even hear my spoiler. Well, that's okay. That's fine. It was not on purpose. Good. Apparently it went out right when I said what the Mario Odyssey spoiler was. See, they're bad in a cosmic sense, Jeff.
Uh-huh.
That world will stop you.
All right. You know what? Fine. I'm sorry I spoiled it, everybody. Are you happy?
Yes, I am happy.
One joke in a movie about whatever.
What's the point? What's the point of throwing it out there? You have something so important to say about it, I'm sure.
Tim Robbins, I mean, it's pretty fun.
I didn't even know. Oh my God.
I am more excited to watch it now once I got it spoiled for me. So, all right, I'm into this podcast. I'm going to go angry, eat my lunch, and get away from Mike Minotti and all of you cretins, except your apology, Jeff. Yeah, okay.
When does Jeopardy start tonight, Jeff?
Jeopardy is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, so 9 p.m. Eastern, and that'd be 6 p.m. Pacific. It'll be on a secret thing inside the Discord. So if you are a Discord, like secret channel member, if you're a member of the Patreon, everything else, go into podcast producers. The details will be in there. You can watch it live.
Join button right now to get in.
Hit that join button right here on YouTube, and that'll guarantee your spot. So come on and hang out with us. It's gonna be a good time. Nate the Hate gonna be trying to defeat Mike Minotti once and for all.
Once
okay,
and for all.
Once and for all.
It's like Mortal Kombat. If I lose so many in a row,
exactly. The Earth realm has been lost. All right, everybody. I'm gonna hit this button right here.
DHX1138 says, "I got a spoiler. We will die one day. Not me. Mike Minotti lives forever."
Mike, where can people find you on the internet?
On Twitch and Twitter at Tolkoto, TOLKOTO. Check out 90s Disney at 90sdisney.com. Our last episode, we just made a bunch of Disney World cocktails and drank them in my one brother's backyard by a fire while we got, a schlizzard. It was fun.
I'm Jeff Grubb, and you will find me on Twitter spoiling things.
Yes.
It'd be like if I was like, oh, here, watch this skit from SNL, and people are like, you spoiled the SNL for me.
It wouldn't be like that, because that would be a complete thing.
It's just a joke, just almost out of context, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It's out of context. You nailed it. You gave me the joke out of context. Exactly right.
Oh my God,
you figured it out finally.
Oh my God, I hate when people do that to me. Only I'm allowed to use people's words against them like that. Join us for Jeopardy tonight. It's going to be a good time, I would imagine.
We'll continue this energy there.
Yes, we absolutely will. And join the Discord, discord.gg/GameMess, GameMess.net. That's free. That's open to everybody. That is a community that is just popping off the chain all the time. People were in there last night just introducing themselves. Just people are still joining new all the time. Don't feel like you have to be like a Patreon member to come in and hang out. We have a huge community of people that are just always there talking about games, talking about the things that I spoil and getting very mad at me, talking about our opinions that we don't even have about Johnny Depp and Amber, whatever her name is.
They're like, there's like a whole thing, like, I like them, but they are like radical liberals. What can you expect? I was like, I do not remember having an opinion about this. To be clear, I don't.
People. All right, we get it. Whatever. And then Mike, you got any plans for the weekend?
There's a friend's birthday tomorrow, so going out tomorrow. Otherwise, hopefully I can play some video games. Yeah,
I'm gonna still be packing up a lot. It's getting real close. I want to get a ton of stuff done this weekend. So next week when the pods here, I'm gonna put stuff in the pods, and I'm gonna go see Top Gun Maverick. I'm really looking forward to that.
I am looking. Yeah, people saying good things.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Master Chief comes.
Yeah, I'm cranking it.
All right, I've unmuted us now if you have any more.
Yeah, I'm cranking it. Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm cranking it. That's a new one. Yeah, I'm cranking it. Why did I do it? Yeah, I'm cranking it.
It's a blast.
It's a blast. Man, I'm hungry.